Invalidating a prayer can happen unintentionally, so it's helpful to be aware of certain actions or conditions to avoid. Here are 7 things to keep in mind. 1. Breaking wudu, ablution, ***, performing prayer without proper ablution invalidates it. Wudu involves washing specific body parts before prayer, and breaking it requires renewing the ablution. Yes, that's correct. In Islam, performing prayer, salah, without proper ablution, wudu, invalidates the prayer. Wudu is a ritual washing that involves specific actions, including washing the hands, mouth, nose, face, arms, head, and feet. Breaking the state of wudu, such as through using the restroom, passing wind, or sleeping deeply, requires renewing the ablution before praying again. Observing wudu is essential for maintaining ritual purity and is an integral part of the Islamic prayer ritual. 2. Not facing the Qibla. The Qibla is the direction of the Kaaba in Mecca, which Muslims face during prayer. Failing to orient oneself towards the Qibla can invalidate the prayer. Absolutely, that's correct. The Qibla, the direction of the Kaaba in Mecca, is the focal point towards which Muslims direct their prayers. It symbolizes the unity of the Muslim community worldwide, all facing the same direction in worship. Failing to orient oneself towards the Qibla during prayer can invalidate the prayer, as it is a fundamental requirement to show obedience and unity in worship. Muslims are required to determine the direction of the Qibla before starting their prayer, especially when not in a mosque with a clearly marked Qibla direction. 3. Speaking intentionally, talking during the prayer, except for specific supplications or responses, can invalidate it. It's important to maintain focus and avoid unnecessary speech. Yes, that's correct. In Islamic prayer, salah, maintaining focus and avoiding unnecessary speech is crucial. Talking during the prayer, except for specific supplications, dua, or responses to the imam, prayer leader, in congregational prayer, can invalidate the prayer. This is because prayer is a form of worship that requires full concentration and devotion to Allah. Engaging in conversation or unnecessary speech detracts from this focus and detracts from the sanctity of the prayer. 4. Laughing or eating, acts that disrupt the solemnity of the prayer, such as laughing or eating, can invalidate it. Prayer requires a state of reverence and concentration. Exactly, maintaining a state of reverence and concentration is crucial during prayer, salah, in Islam. Acts that disrupt the solemnity of the prayer, such as laughing, eating, or engaging in behavior inconsistent with the seriousness of the prayer, can invalidate it. Prayer is a form of worship that requires focus, humility, and submission to Allah, and engaging in frivolous or disrespectful behavior contradicts these principles. Muslims are encouraged to approach prayer with a sense of humility and mindfulness, ensuring that their actions and demeanor reflect the seriousness of the act of worship. 5. Intentional actions contrary to prayer, performing actions that are contrary to the prayer's postures or movements, such as intentionally bowing or prostrating outside of prayer, can invalidate it. Yes, that's correct. Performing actions that are contrary to the prayer's postures or movements, such as intentionally bowing or prostrating outside of prayer, can invalidate it. This is because these specific postures and movements are prescribed by Islamic law for prayer and hold symbolic significance. Engaging in these actions outside of the context of prayer can be seen as disrespectful or mocking the prayer, which is why they are to be reserved exclusively for the act of worship. 6. Interruption by impurities. If impurities such as urine, feces, or blood come into contact with one's body or clothing during prayer, it can invalidate the prayer. Clothes and body should be clean before praying. Absolutely, maintaining cleanliness and avoiding impurities is essential in Islamic prayer, salah. If impurities such as urine, feces, or blood come into contact with one's body or clothing during prayer, it can invalidate the prayer. Before praying, Muslims are required to ensure that their bodies and clothing are clean and free from impurities. This reflects the importance of physical cleanliness as well as spiritual purity in Islamic worship. 7. Intentional invalidators, intentionally invalidating the prayer, such as deliberately leaving out a required action or adding an action that is not part of the prayer, can invalidate it. Yes, intentionally invalidating the prayer, such as deliberately leaving out a required action or adding an action that is not part of the prayer, can invalidate it. Prayer in Islam is a form of worship that requires adherence to specific actions, postures, and recitations. Intentionally deviating from these prescribed practices undermines the integrity of the prayer and goes against the spirit of submission and obedience to Allah. Muslims are encouraged to perform their prayers with sincerity and in accordance with the teachings of Islam. It's important to note that unintentional mistakes or forgetfulness can be rectified through specific actions within the prayer, such as performing the prostration of forgetfulness, sujud as-saw. Seeking knowledge and guidance from knowledgeable individuals can help in understanding the nuances of prayer and avoiding invalidators.